the toilets were froze that night, and they were like, "Oh, guys, where do we take a piss?" So anyone I could, I would send up. So just the field next to us, there was a lot of sheep, and they were kept on that field by an electric fence. So
Bobby's an asshole, by the way.
Anybody I could, I was like, "Guys, see that fence up there? Just go up and piss on that." Like,
You were telling me that shit. You were telling me to go piss on that fence.
you wouldn't do it.
No, of course I wouldn't fucking do it.
You're gonna entertain yourself somehow on these long nights, like.
Yeah, I suppose. Guys, does anybody else have a question?
I have a question. Oh, sorry. Oh, are we doing the mic or I don't
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, let's do the mic. Everybody do the mic.
Oh, the mic.
if you
Show up to the
can.
mic, guys.
Okay, so I am wondering, aside from what Jon ultimately had to do with, killing Daenerys, very sad, do you think, and this has been a debate all weekend with me and other fans, that in the end, Jon kind of gets the perfect ending? Like, do you think that's what Jon ultimately would love to do? Each of you, I'm curious.
Guys, I want to talk about Jon Snow with you.
Hang on. We've only 31 minutes left.
It's going to take more than that.
I know.
So guys, Jon Snow, from a man who proclaimed Jon Snow the King of the North, I have this to say about him. Still remains my favourite character in Game of Thrones. What kind of man climbs on the back of a dragon? A madman or a king? This is why we follow him. Now, if you look at Jon Snow, guys, and you break him down the middle, he is half Stark and he is half Targaryen, okay? Now, him being half Stark, guys, he carries the blood of the first men, as do the wildlings, okay? The title of King in the King Beyond the Wall, guys, is not a title that you receive via any sort of coronation ceremony. You're just named it, that is it, okay? And that is what that man has become, all right? If you remember, hold on a minute. If you remember, guys, seasons, whenever you have Alistair Thorne and he's just about to be hung, he's like, I fought, I lost, and now I rest. But you, Jon Snow, you'll be fighting their battles for the rest of your life. And he's right, because he's King Beyond the North, guys, and he actually unites the northern tribes, you know what I mean? Fucking together so they're not keeping the shit. The man is half Stark, half Targaryen, and he has went over to the Stark side, okay, the blood of the first men, okay? He finishes the show with the title of King Beyond the Wall, and the reason, the whole thing with Jon Snow, with me, is he puts everything in front of himself, before himself, throughout the entire show, and he just wants to be left alone. And if you notice something about Jon, whenever he's beyond the wall with the wildlings, he is the happiest he has ever been, for the simple fact that they do not recognise bastards, okay? Bastards is not a thing beyond the wall, and that's where he feels most at home. And the thing, his final thing where he kills Daenerys Targaryen, is he puts the world in front of himself, because he cannot let her go to each place in the world and put her sort of justice in front of those kind of cities, because if they refuse, she will fucking burn them all. And Jon Snow, I fucking loved his ending. I thought, as soon as he rode off beyond the wall, I thought, yes! Fucking yes, boy! You fucking live in peace, boy! Yes! I fucking absolutely loved it. He remains a king. See that whole prince that was promised stuff, and how he didn't live up to that, this whole prophecy? Of course he's the prince that was promised. He was never king, he was a prince. And he's the son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark, and the whole thing about that is, he remains the prince that was promised. He united the north, he brought Daenerys Targaryen to the north to fight the White Walkers. Of course he's the prince that was promised. Of course he is. Fucking fuck yeah. Sorry.
Homer's got a small bladder, but he will be back in a second. So just to add to that, biologically, Jon Snow was 50% Stark and 50% Targaryen. To add to that, he was also at least 75% Night's Watch. The Night's Watch taught that guy a lot of life lessons, especially to do with goats.
He's also fucking stabbed him, but there you go. That's alright, I suppose.
It was a small portion of it.
Oh, it's a small portion.
It's a bad portion.
Oh, okay. Guys, is anybody else?
We're all on, yeah.
Go for it.
Guys, thank you so much for being here and coming all this way.
Pleasure, man.
You know, donating to get, let's give a run just for being here. That's awesome. Like on the GoFundMe, I was so happy we got that going. Like I ignore the charities or the starving children. I'm like, I need to hang out with these Irish people. Like, you know, like this is money well worth spent. Let's do this. Let's get them here. So thank you. So Andrew, in the documentary, we get to see you at the very end. Take off your belt and your costume, you turn it in over the table, and honestly, I got a little choked up at that moment. Like, I was not expecting to have those kind of feels, but so my question is, and we're all good friends here, you know, 500 of our closest friends. They do a good job of cataloging everything on the show in terms of merch. You know, is there anything that I don't know, maybe found its way into your bag or apartment at the end?
Something,
a little souvenir, you know, something that you
it's something you don't want to do. Honestly, you don't want to sort of take away. I mean, the show gives that so much to you that you don't want to sort of, you know, steal anything from it. I mean, Andrew was lucky enough to get something himself.
Anything that I received from Game of Thrones, I earned it.
Yeah.
And that's a far better way to do it. You know, the fact that the base level is that I was able to be part of the televised version of the story that I have grown up with. There was my very first close-up in the show was in Stannis Baratheon's camp, and that was given to me by David Nutter, and it's me freezing to death. And I have never, it's Game of Thrones on the set, I have never felt so truly alive. Whenever I was given my very first close-up in the show, I had to freeze to death. And they gave me hand wraps and covered in candle wax. That's how they actually mimic frost, guys. From the documentary, it tells you that all the snow is actually shredded paper. Whenever you see, it doesn't matter if it's Night's Watch or Stannis Baratheon, whenever you see frost, it's actually candle wax. That's how they mimic the frost. And I had these 2 hand wraps, 2 pieces of material covered with candle wax. And I headed to the head of the costume department, Carolyn, and I asked her, can I keep these, please? And she said, of course, Andrew, they're 2 pieces of material, but like, instead of just taking them, I wanted to ask permission. Yeah. And those sit in my I have a Game of Thrones room.